Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are 2 hours away from Election Day 2024 here in the United States. It's almost over, but the crying. One side's going to be crying at least. The other side's going to be pretty happy, all right? And hopefully we're going to have an answer to this mess. Hopefully we're going to have an answer. Hopefully we're going to have results. The final results, conclusive results within a orderly manner of time. And by that, I mean, hopefully, if not election night, early the next morning, like before the sun rises or shortly after, we get a final result. Somebody hits 270. And when I say that, I mean, hopefully it doesn't come down to freaking Arizona and Nevada, because Arizona and Nevada have already said it's probably going to be a few days before they're able to count all of their votes. So if it's like really, really close, and then it's like really, really close in Arizona and Nevada, we're going to have issues. So if it's really, really close nationally, and then it's really, really close in Arizona and Nevada, and we have to wait for Arizona and Nevada to come in order to find out who won nationally, God bless. Oh no. Like, that's going to be a mess. It's going to be an absolute mess. I mean, both sides are going to be declaring victory. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be absolutely terrible. So hopefully it doesn't come down to that. Oh God, I'm not going to lie to you, man. I almost overslept. I almost overslept before this live stream got started. I just woke up like 15 minutes ago. I was like, all right, I got everything set up, taking a nap, and got to set my alarm. But we're here, man. We're here. All right, so tonight we are going to get our first results. Because there is a tradition in a little town called Dixville Notch up in New Hampshire. And this town has a very small population. I want to say it's like, 12 people or something? And they are the first in the nation to vote. It is a tradition. They are going to vote at midnight. They do it the old-fashioned way. And we are going to find out who wins Dixville Notch here at 12 midnight. So we're going to stream from now all the way through 12 midnight, all the way into Election Day. And we're going to watch live as Dixville Notch votes. And we're going to find out who wins Dixville Notch. So yeah, little town of Dixville Notch up in New Hampshire. They're the first one to vote. The first in-person votes in 2024. New Hampshire general election will be cast at Dixville Notch as it takes part in the tradition of midnight voting early Tuesday morning. The voting is expected to begin around midnight Tuesday morning. A live stream of the event will be visible on this website. I'll probably find a different place to watch it. I do wonder if like some of the larger news stations, like if they're actually going to show it up. I know they probably will on TV. I'm going to see if we can find one online, a stream of them showing the Dixville Notch vote. But yes, we're going to watch the Dixville Notch vote. And we're going to get our first results from Dixville Notch. So tonight, live, you're going to get your first results. All right, you're going to get your first results. Now, you may be wondering, all right, so how accurate is Dixville Notch at actually predicting the winner of the presidential election? Well, they have a fairly decent record. Let's go ahead and pull up the Wikipedia article on Dixville Notch. Now, there are a couple of other places. In New Hampshire that actually do midnight voting. Dixville Notch is like the big one, but there's also Hart's Location. There's Millsfield. They recently started doing it. Dixville Notch is the big one. Dixville Notch is the first one. And if we look at their results, their accuracy this century. And again, I was saying this century back when I did my election prediction map. And people kept saying, oh, you mean like the last 100 years? No. When I say this century, I literally mean the 21st century. I'm not talking about the last 100 years. I mean, starting from the year 2000 through today. All right, through 2024. Okay. When I talk about elections this century, I mean in the 21st century. I really don't give a shit about the elections going back before the year 2000 because I don't think they're very relevant to elections that are going on today because things have changed so dramatically since then. But if we look here on the Wikipedia article when it comes to Dixville Notch, so starting in the year 2000, Dixville Notch correctly predicted the winner of the general election, the general national election winner. And that, of course, would have been George Bush, the younger George Bush Jr. That was back in 2000. They predicted that he would win. Their vote tally lined up with the national winner, being George Bush in 2000. 2004, they picked George Bush again. And, of course, he won in 2004. 2008, they picked Obama. And, of course, Obama won in 2008. Then we get to 2012, which is interesting because 2012 was straight up a tie. 2012 was straight up a tie. So, of course, that was Obama versus Romney, and Dixville Notch actually tied. Then we move on to 2016, where they picked Hillary Clinton, but of course, we know Donald Trump won in 2016. So they got that one just straight up wrong. And then 2020, they started getting back on track, and they end up picking Biden, and of course, Biden won the 2020 election. Hart's location, very similar record, except they did not tie in 2012. They actually correctly predicted that Obama would win. So is this accurate to what we're going to see on the national scene? I mean, out of the last, let's see, what is this? 2000, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out of the last 6 elections, out of the 6 elections that have happened this century, they have correctly got 4 out of the 6 correct, with 1 being a tie. So they've really only got 1 just straight up wrong, and that was 2016. So am I saying that, so goes Dixville Notch, so goes the nation? No. But it's interesting. It's just fun to look at. All right. It's fun to look at and see what's going to happen. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. And it's not like a bellwether. Like there's certain bellwether counties for different states. That's not what we're looking for here. It's just they're the first in the nation. We're going to get that results first. We're going to go check in on that. It's just fun. It's a great way to start off the election. It's a great way to start off election day because it is actual real votes. It's not polls. It's actual real votes. It's not data. It's real actual votes. And it's like, okay, we're in this now. Like it's election day. It started. We're in this now. So before we get to that, again, that's going to be at midnight. That's going to be at midnight that we're going to get our first actual votes in, our first actual results in from Dixville Notch. But before we get to that, there are some things that I do want to discuss, which I think are very, very interesting. So, of course, we talked about the Iowa poll yesterday, which had Harris up. And I want to bring up the final New York Times poll, New York Times Siena poll of the 7 battleground states that was released. And this is actually really, really interesting. And if this is true, then let's see. I want them to actually. Do they actually have the? Do they have the freaking graph? Pull up the graph. I don't want a freaking article. I want a graph. Come on. Yeah, I want the graph. Let's see. This might have the graph. Okay, it doesn't have the graph. It does like listed here. So, this is interesting. So here we go. So the results of the latest New York Times / Siena College polls. It says here they're scrambling the Rust Belt versus Sun Belt debate heading into Tuesday, as they show all 7 battleground states are within the margin of error. However, let's look at this real quick, because this is interesting. Because again, if we go back just a few months ago when Biden was in the race, obviously Trump was the clear front runner. Trump was the clear leader. But now we look at the results of this poll. In Arizona, let me zoom in just a tad for you guys. Okay, I think that should be easier to read. So in Arizona, Trump is ahead 49% to Harris's 45%. In Georgia, this one surprised me because if you look at my map that I did on Friday, I had Georgia going to Donald Trump. But in Georgia, the New York Times Siena poll has Harris ahead 48% to Trump's 46%. Fascinating. Michigan, which is thought to be Harris's best swing state, is tied. Trump 47, Harris 47. Nevada, which again, a lot of people think is going to go red. I have it going blue, and this poll seems to lean in that direction. And the reason, and listen, like I said in my prediction video, you don't always go based on polls. Polls are a snapshot in time during a particular specific moment of the campaign. But because we are literally less than 2 hours away from the election, the polls that have come out in the last 24, 48 hours, really over the weekend, are super important because a lot of people are making up their minds over the weekend. So this is pretty important. But yeah, Harris 49%, Trump 46% in Nevada. So they have Nevada going to Harris. North Carolina, which again, a lot of people were saying that, oh, North Carolina is going to go to Trump. Like, there's no way he's going to lose North Carolina. I had it going blue. And North Carolina, this poll seems to, pan that out. North Carolina, New York Times Siena poll has it going Harris 48%, Trump 46%. Pennsylvania is completely tied. Harris 48%, Trump 48%, which I think is probably pretty accurate. I think Pennsylvania is going to be close. Wisconsin, Harris 49%, Trump 47%. Have her head there. So she is ahead in really most of the swing states here. She's ahead. The only one where Trump actually has a lead is Arizona. Everywhere else, she's either ahead or they're tied. Which, if that's the case, and again, I actually want to find an actual graph because there's a graph out there that's better. Now, here's the thing. They actually also did a poll on the Senate elections. And the Senate results are actually more positive for the Democrats. Now, here's the thing. I'm not actually done a map on the Senate, but if you were to ask me yesterday, I would have told you, well, I think the Senate's probably going to go to the Republicans, probably 51 seats to 49 seats, and Republicans are probably going to get it because they're not really defending any seats in blue states, but Democrats are defending 3 seats in red states. So again, that's it seemed like Republicans had an easier time getting control of the Senate, whereas I think Democrats would get control of the House. Like, if you were to, put me in a life or death situation, all right, how do I think this is going to go? Who's going to control what? I would have said Democrats are going to control the White House. They're going to control the House of Representatives, but Republicans are probably going to control the Senate. This poll from the New York Times Siena seems to point to a more positive situation for the Democrats in the Senate, which is interesting. So let's look at the Senate results here. In Arizona, Democratic Representative Ruben Gallego, whatever his name is, 50% to Republican Kari Lake, 45%. I think that's probably pretty accurate. I think Kari Lake, even if Trump wins Arizona, I think Kari Lake is going to lose Arizona. And I think she's going to lose Arizona by a larger percentage than Trump is going to win Arizona. So I think Trump's going to win by like 2 or 3 percentage points, and Kari Lake is probably going to lose by like 4 or 5 percentage points. So I think that's actually pretty accurate. Michigan, Representative Elise Slotkin, 48%, Democrat Elise Slotkin, 48% to the Republican Mike Rogers, 46%. Nevada, Rosen, 52% to Republican Sam Brown's 43%. Pennsylvania, Democratic Senator Bob Casey, 50% to Dave McCormick's 45%. Wisconsin, Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin, 50% to Republican Eric Hovde, 46%. Now, in North Carolina, this poll has Democratic State Attorney General Josh Stein leading controversial GOP Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson by a wide margin, 55% to 39%. That's very, I mean, if this holds, if this turns out to be true, then what's going to end up happening is Democrats may end up taking control of the Senate. Now, here's the thing. If Democrats end up taking control of the White House, the House of Representatives, and the Senate, which up until just today, basically, I didn't think was possible for them to get all three. I thought they would get the White House and the House of Representatives, and then they'd lose the Senate. But if they end up getting all three, I mean, we could be seeing like an Obama-level election. We really could. And like at that point, who knows like what kind of legislation they could get through. Wow, look at the chat, man. Look at the chat. Look at this shit. Look at the people in the chat, man. Ain't that cute? That's real cute. I mean, it just drives like Trump supporters are like they're such asses. Like they're so blatant in your face. Like calm down. Like if you're so sure you're going to win, why do you act like this? Why do you act like children? Act like a grown-ass man or a grown-ass woman. Oh my god. I mean, it's so annoying. It's so annoying. So let's actually I want to see if I can find a damn graph of this. There's like a really good graph. Here we go. Like Siena College. Like this might have it. This might have it. Yeah. This, let's see. This is the Siena College. What the hell? Like, why do you not have the freaking graph? Oh, but this has got, hold on. This is interesting. This has got like the Senate and the presidential election all listed here. Let's see. I mean, you are a child. At least I got through college. I don't know what you're doing. At least I got through college, buddy. Let's see here. So this is the New York Times Siena poll. So yeah, Trump is ahead in Arizona. Harris is ahead in Georgia slightly. It's tied in Michigan. She's ahead in North Carolina. She's ahead in Nevada. The presidential vote is tied in Pennsylvania. She's ahead in Wisconsin. All right, so let's actually hold up. Let me actually switch over to another tab real quick. Yeah, let me switch over to another tab real quick. So let's pull up the interactive map again. Let's pull up the map. And let's go through it. So this was my prediction on Friday. My prediction on Friday was this. I mean, she basically carries the Northeast, except for that one district in Maine, which is going to go to Trump. Okay, so yeah, this was my prediction on Friday. She wins 292 to his 246. However, let's take in the New York Times Siena poll. All right, let's take in the New York Times Siena poll. So the New York Times Siena poll is saying that she's going to win, according to the New York Times Siena poll, she is going to win Georgia, which in this map I have going to Trump. But let's flip it. Let's say we go with the New York Times Siena poll and she gets Georgia. All right. Then let's see. It has her winning in North Carolina. I've already got that going to her. Nevada, I've got that going to her. Pennsylvania is tied. Wisconsin, I've got that going to her. Yeah, like the only one that I don't really have going to her that this one does is Georgia. So let's say she wins Georgia. That brings her up to 308, which is basically what Biden did. Now, let's just say, because it's tied in Michigan and Pennsylvania. All right, let's just say like he wins Michigan and Pennsylvania. She still gets the presidency, 274 to 264. By a much closer margin, but she still wins. Now, let's say she gets the states that I gave her before, and she gets the Iowa poll had her up by 3. Let's say she gets up by 3, and she wins Iowa. That brings her up to 314. I mean, that's a pretty decisive win right there. That's a pretty decisive win right there. So that would be based on. So this would just be based on the polling. Like if we look at the poll, if we look at the New York Times Siena poll, and we take the Iowa poll into consideration, and let's say that she does pull it out in Michigan and Pennsylvania. Let's say she breaks the tie and she wins there. That's what would end up happening. But even if he wins in Michigan and Pennsylvania, she still gets a 280. And even if we take away Iowa, 274. She's got more paths to victory than he does. In that case, it would come down to Georgia, which again, New York Times Siena has her up in Georgia, which is really like I wasn't expecting. Like I was not expecting Georgia. I mean, I wasn't really confident in the Georgia prediction, but it's interesting. So this would be a weird map, though. This would be, if this is what it looks like, this would be a really weird map. I'm not going to lie. But the reason I don't think that you're going to see a breaking of the Rust Belt is because historically, when the Rust Belt goes one way, when one Rust Belt state goes one way, all the Rust Belt states go that way. And even though we did get the Iowa poll, and that poll is historically pretty damn accurate, I still don't feel comfortable putting Iowa in her column. I still don't see Iowa going into recall. Even though that's what the even though that's what the even though that's what the poll says in Iowa, I still don't see that happening. I still don't see that happening. Yeah, I still don't see. If that happens, I mean, it would be pretty damn wild. It would be pretty damn wild if that actually happens. I don't see that happening, but you know, who knows? Maybe. But I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. Let's see here real quick. Take care of some business here real quick. Yeah, there we go. There we go. We got to remove some trolls real quick. Can I make a scenario for if Trump would win New Hampshire? All right, so let's say if Trump pulls off New Hampshire, all right. And let's say he gets Pennsylvania. I mean, look, the reason I don't think that if one of the Rust Belt states is going to go one way, I think they're all going that way because that just typically is what happens. But let's say if he got New Hampshire just doesn't have a lot of votes. Like in fact, how many electoral college votes does New Hampshire have? Hold up. New Hampshire has 4. I mean, it'd have to be a really close race for New Hampshire to matter. It'd have to be like a really, really, really close race for New Hampshire to matter. But I just don't see that happen. I mean, we're gonna find out at least at midnight one town whether or not it's gonna go. We're gonna get some results from New Hampshire at midnight. Dixville Notch is going to be voting at midnight, so we're going to find out how that's going to turn out. I mean, it's not always indicative of what's going to happen statewide, but we'll find out what happens at least in one town in New Hampshire because that's where Dixville Notch is located. Okay, so let me kind of reset the map to what I had it before. So this is the results I came up with on Friday. Yo, what's up, Wizard? How you doing? Wizard? How you doing? Orb is just being a troll. So Orb is gone. Here's the thing. If my map from Friday is wrong, I think it's going to be wrong in this sense. I think it's going to be... Yeah, let's see here. Wizard. Yeah, I saw the DMs earlier with Tony and stuff. I'm sorry you're going through that, man. I'm not going to air it out here on the stream cuz, I don't I'm not brave enough for politics, so I can't stay. I'm not going to air it out here on stream because I think we need to keep that in the DMs. But I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. Here's the thing: if my map from Friday is wrong, so this is what I had on Friday. If my map from Friday is wrong, then I think it's going to be wrong in the sense that I'm underestimating Kamala Harris. And the reason why is because since Friday, we've had the Iowa poll come out, which no one saw coming. I mean, that was just, I remember waking up or seeing that poll come out on Saturday night, late Saturday night, and I was like, what? Iowa? Huh? Because remember, Trump was beating Joe Biden by 18 points in Iowa. It wasn't that long ago he was beating Kamala by 4 points in Iowa. And now here she is apparently beating him by 3? That just came out. No one expected that. No one saw that coming. 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 And I'm assuming that is an alt account from Orb of Water. Gone. I'm not dealing with the trolls. Let's see. Where do you think the freshest / the best polls are to look? So again, I'm always cautious about polls, except for right now, because polls are a snapshot in time. They don't necessarily reflect really anything. I mean, if you go based on polls, just solely based on polls, you're really just, it's just not a good indicator, except when you're this close to the election, because these polls are being done over the weekend and a lot of people are making up their minds over the weekend. So now that we're basically here to election day, the polls are going to be a little bit more accurate. So I would say the Seltzer poll that was done in Iowa, that's why everybody's like freaking out about it, because it's so close to the election and then this pops out. And that's been a very accurate pollster in the past, very accurate. And then you have you know what? I'm starting to think that this guy is a Russian bot. Probably getting the same money as Tim Pool. Has nothing better to do. But anyways, so to me, I think that the New York Times Siena poll, I mean, that's very interesting because again, a lot of people just are not expecting. A lot of people are just, I mean, like Georgia's the one that's throwing me off because I didn't think that she was going to pull it out in Georgia. I didn't think she was going to pull it out in Georgia. But again, like this is where I had the election on Friday. But given some of the stuff that's come out, I mean, if we just go based on the polls, this is what it could look like if we go based on the polls. And even if, I mean, it's a tie in Michigan and Pennsylvania, according to the New York Times Seltzer poll. But even if he wins Pennsylvania and Michigan, if the other two polls are correct, she still pulls this off. She still pulls this off. Republicans showed up in person more on election day. That was during COVID-19. Thing is, though, is that there's been more Republicans voting in early voting. So how many more Republicans are out there to actually vote on election day? See, that's the thing. The voting trends have changed. That's the thing. Is there a tie scenario? Is there a tie scenario? There is, and it's more possible than you might think. So let's say if he gets Nevada, let's say if he gets, let's see, it's not Georgia, it's Iowa. No, it's not. Let's see, shit. Let's see. If she gets, hell, I forgot how they get the tie scenario. There is a tie scenario. There is a tie scenario, but I forget exactly how you get there. It's like it's very difficult to pull it off. But if he were to, what am I missing here? She needs to win something to get it there. Yeah, I forget exactly what the combination is, but it's some weird wonky shit. I mean, it's some weird wonky shit in order to actually get to a tie scenario. And I mean, is it impossible? No, but there's a chance. There's a chance that it could happen. There is a chance that it could happen. There is a chance that it could happen. But I don't think it's going to happen. Give Trump New Hampshire. Why is everybody so convinced? Okay, let's just say he gets. Here's the thing, though. Even if he gets New Hampshire, it's really not going to matter, guys. I mean, like, it'd have to be extremely close for New Hampshire to matter. New Hampshire is just for electoral college votes, and that's it. That's it. I mean, like, he'd still have to get Iowa. I mean, well, let's just give him Iowa, but he'd have to get Nevada, Iowa, New Hampshire, and he can win that way. If he gets Michigan and Pennsylvania, yeah, like I just don't see. I mean, like, even if somehow New Hampshire were to, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I just don't see it to where New Hampshire is going to really matter at this point. But no, like, what I had on Friday, I think is more accurate. But again, like, if I'm wrong on anything, it's probably that I might be underestimating her. I mean, that's the thing. But this is what I had on Friday. Like, I do wonder, like, all the Trump trolls and stuff. I do wonder, like, if Trump loses tomorrow, like, are y'all just gonna, like, sit here and just say it was stolen again? Like, really? I mean, it's just like give it up. Like, if he loses, it's over. If he loses, it's done. Uh like the movement's dead. The movement's dead. Let's see. Are you sticking with what you said on Friday, or do you want to change anything? I don't think she's going to win Iowa. I don't think that's going to happen. The New York Times Siena poll is interesting in regards to Georgia. If I was going to change anything, it would be Georgia. And that's it. If I was going to change anything, it would be Georgia. I don't think she's going to win Georgia, but if I were to change anything, that would be it. That would be it. But no, I'm going to stick to the 292, 246. That's what I'm going to stick with from Friday. God, there's so many trolls tonight. Look at, I mean, the fact that these people are getting they're getting their knickers in a twist here. Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous, man. Like, these people are so scared. Like, I wonder what they're actually going to do if he loses. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Here's the thing, though. Even if Trump wins Pennsylvania, she still wins. Like, that's the thing you have to that's the thing you have to understand. She has an easier path to victory than he does. She can afford to lose more states compared to him. I mean, of course they are. They're already saying it. Like, they're already saying, like, oh, it's stolen, it's rigged, there's corruption, there's cheating, blah 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 blah. It's so pathetic. If you lose, you lose. And that goes for both sides. Stop bitching. I hope this never happens to anyone, but with the previous assassination attempts, do you believe he will assess? I mean, I hope not. I hope not. Yeah, I've gone back and forth. Bobby, there's nothing scientific about a YouTube chat. That means nothing. There's no scientific analysis involved in people coming into a YouTube chat. I mean, come on. That's not actual real analysis. It doesn't matter. I live in a Republican area in a solid blue state. And Republicans here are so dumb for still supporting the Electoral College. Well, here's the thing. If you look at the popular vote, Democrats would have won most of the elections during the 21st century. The only election where a Republican won the popular vote was the 2004 election. And that was because of 9/11 and George Bush going after the terrorist and blah 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 blah. That's why George Bush won that election. But no, I mean, if we had a popular vote, Democrats would have won every single election except 2004. If that's how we determine the president. So that's one reason. I mean, if Republicans want to win, then no, they're not dumb for supporting the Electoral College. However, there is an argument to be made that the Electoral College is outdated. I've gone back and forth on my own stance on that because the thing is, like, it does take away some power from like some of the smaller states in order to have any kind of effect on the election. But at the same time, if there's not a huge population in those states, do they really have the right to dictate to the rest of the country when they're so damn small? So that's kind of the moral quandary that you walk into on that. In recent times, I've kind of leaned more towards we maybe should go with a popular vote, but I don't know. Like, I've not really settled myself on the issue. Yeah, but Bobby, again, I don't know how many fucking times I've had to say this. When I say in the last century, I don't mean in the last 100 years. I mean this century, the 21st century. I don't care about 1980. Do you know how different the country is compared to 1980? 1980 doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But here's the thing, though. Like, do they have the right to hold back all the other states? Like, that's the thing. Like, if you look at the states with the largest economies that actually contribute more to the country, you can see an argument there as to why the Electoral College is wrong in that sense. In that sense. Um, but at the same time, like, you can also bring up the argument you're talking about. Do I think we're going to get rid of the Electoral College anytime soon? No, probably not. But it's a debate that's probably going to go on for a while until it's actually settled. Yeah, right. Listen, the world of not just the America of the 1980s, but the world of the 1980s just doesn't exist anymore. Like, that's the thing. Like, there's a lot of people that always praise Ronald Reagan, but then you look at my generation and you look at the generation that's coming up now, people that are just turning 18 now and voting for the first time. We don't care about Ronald Reagan. We don't care about the 1980s. That's the thing. Like, we don't care about the 1980s. I don't give a shit about Ronald Reagan. But yeah, like, people don't give a shit about Ronald Reagan. let's see here. We're closer to 2060 than we exactly. Like, guys, like that. Like I saw this the other day. I saw this the other day. There was this Republican talking about if Trump loses, then they essentially the Republican Party needs to go back to Reaganism, right? Needs to go back to Reaganism. And I was just like stunned. I'm like, is that all you guys have? It's just Trumpism and Reaganism? Like you have nothing else. Like this is why I say the Republican Party has become stagnant. Because it's literally just Trump and Reagan, Trump and Reagan, Trump and Reagan, Trump and Reagan. And it's like, guys, come up with something else. Come up with something new. Like this is just dumb. Nobody listen. The majority of the country does not want to go back to the 1980s. No one gives a shit about the 80s. If you want to be a actual relevant political party, then you need to start coming up with ideas for the future, solutions for the future. No one cares about the 1980s. No one gives a shit about the 1980s. No one gives a shit about Ronald Reagan. No one gives a shit about Reaganism. No one gives a flying fuck. You're old. You're worn out. I'm 31. But see, here's the thing. Like the Democrats are not promoting socialism. They're promoting social democracy, which is not. See, this is the thing. In this country, nobody understands what the fuck socialism actually is. Nobody understands what communism actually is. All right? The thing is that social democracy is what you see in the Nordic countries. If they were really socialist countries, why are we allied with them? Also, I think you need to look at the data, which shows that the Nordic countries, which have the strongest social safety nets, are the happiest countries in the world. Don't you want to be happy? I wonder how much of Trump's base has died since the 20. See, that's the thing that people don't realize. That's the thing. That's the thing that people don't realize is that like Trump's base is old. A lot of those people have died. Drill, baby, drill, blah, 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 blah. Are we still going on with that Sarah Palin bullshit? See, this is what I'm talking about. That's all they can do is bring up old shit. So the difference between socialism and communism is that socialism is the democratization of uh, of different resources. It's the democratization of industry, which is where the people actually control industry. All right. So if you want to see what this would look like, if you want to see what this would look like in your workplace, for example, you wouldn't have an employer. You wouldn't have like somebody that actually owns the company. It would be owned by all of the employees together. So they would all have to vote on different things. They would all have to come up with things together. That's essentially what a socialized version of a workplace would look like. Um, Communism is when the state owns industry, when the government owns industry. That would be communism. However, no one's talking about socialism or communism. The closest thing the Democrats are getting to that is social democracy, which is what you see in the Nordic countries. Um, Well, see, Texas is not going to turn blue. Texas is not a swing state. So Texas is not going to turn blue. I used to be a Democrat but turned Republican after graduation. I used to be a Republican, and then I realized a lot of their economic stuff is just nonsense, and I wouldn't even call myself a Democrat. I'm just independent. I mean, it may turn out that way, but that's not what the polls are saying. That's not what the polls are saying. Like, here's the thing that I like. Seriously, when it comes to the Trump voters, like, if he loses, are you going to accept it? Are you going to accept it? I mean, like that's the thing. Like, you have to accept this shit. $30,000 kids missing in this country illegally, 25%. So the inflation thing is due to the pandemic. That happened everywhere. But if you look at America, America has actually recovered from the pandemic better than every other developed country. And that didn't happen under Trump. That happened under Biden. Now, I don't think Biden's really that good of a president, to be honest with you. I just don't. I don't think he's progressive enough. Plus, he's just old. He's just from a different generation, a different world. I'm tired of all these old people, man. Like, go away. Shoo. Go to a home already. 30,000 kids missing. I don't like this particular gang. I may find this surprising. I don't keep up with Mexican gangs. The difference between a democracy and a republic. So a republic is a form of democracy. A republic is representative democracy. What you're asking is the difference between direct democracy and representative democracy, but they're both still a form of democracy. So a direct democracy is when the people themselves directly vote on issues. A representative democracy, which is what a republic is when people vote for representatives who represent their interest and vote for them, which is what we live in, but that's still a form of democracy. I think Democrats win the House. The Senate, I think, is going to go to I mean, I think the Senate's going to go to the Republicans, but if the New York Times Siena poll is to be believed, it may turn out the Democrats may actually get all three chambers. But see, here's the thing. The only thing you consider to be a fair election is if Trump wins. That's it. You're not going to accept anything else. It's only fair if he wins. No, I think Vance is scummy. Like, Vance climbed out of the poor Appalachian community and then basically gave a middle finger to everybody else in that community. All right. He forgot his roots, he forgot where he came from. And I think he's just a greedy scumbag. I think Vance is a terrible fucking person. No, I think JD Vance is just a greedy fucking person that doesn't care about where he came from. See, this really just shows you how uneducated a lot of voters are. The vice president has no control over policy. The vice president has one constitutional duty, and that is to be the president of the Senate. And the only duty they have in that office is to break a tie in the Senate. That's it. That is all the power that a vice president has. And the thing is with Biden, I wanted Biden out. I wanted Biden out for a long time because I think he's too old. Honestly, if the polls we're seeing now are any indication, there might be a hidden Kamala vote. I might be underestimating her. If it's rigged, he loses. Yeah. See, that's the thing, man. It's like they will only accept if he wins. That goes against every single thing that this country was founded on when it comes to having the peaceful transition of power. If he loses, let me explain. Let me explain something to the Trumpists out there, all right? Because this is something that people in both parties understood until 2020. If you lose an election, you don't go out and attack the fucking Capitol. You don't keep denying that you lost for 4 fucking years. If you lose the election, you accept it, you go back and you reevaluate where you fucked up. And you try and do better next time. What influence does Kamala Harris have over Joe Biden? She can give him advice. She can suggest things, but she has no control over policy. Zilch, nada, none. The vice president has no role when it comes to crafting policy. So no, she is not the president. She's not the president right now. She's the vice president. And the vice president does not hold a lot of power. Again, read the fucking Constitution. It's gonna be so interesting. Like, if she ends up winning, like, the meltdown you're gonna see on the right is just gonna be insane. It's gonna be insane. I mean, if he loses, you fuckers better accept it. Because if you don't and you try pulling this January 6th shit again, then as far as I'm concerned, they have every right to go around and just round up you fuckers and throw you in jail. I mean, come on. Like, if y'all actually try and pull some January 6th shit again, then yeah, I hope they bring out like the full force of the justice system on your ass. See right here, like again, like, people don't understand how fucking voting works. First of all, it's different. It's different in each and every state how they're counted. All right. For example, in Arizona and Nevada, the way they count their votes is that we're probably not going to know until 3, 4, 5 days down the road. All right. How it's going to go in Arizona and Nevada if it's a close race. Now, if you look over in Pennsylvania, the way that they count their votes, okay, they count election. See, a lot of states, the way they do it, they'll actually count like the early votes and the mail-in ballots and stuff like that. That is going to get counted first. All right, that's going to get counted first in a lot of states. In Pennsylvania, for some reason, they do the opposite. All right, in Pennsylvania, they count election day votes first, and then they count the early vote last. And so that's why it takes so long in Pennsylvania. The problem is that people didn't understand, and they still don't understand how this works, is that Democrats usually vote early, right? Like that's been the trend. So when they counted election day ballots first, you saw like this huge Trump lead in Pennsylvania, right? And then they counted the mail-in ballots. And when that happened, you had a huge surge of Democratic support, and it overcame the Trump election day support. And so Biden ended up winning Pennsylvania in 2020. All right. It's just a matter of how they fucking count the ballots. If Kamala Harris loses, you're not going to see the Democrats pull a January 6th. That's the difference. If you commit treason against this country, and attacking the Capitol, I would qualify as treason, there's a price to pay for that. There's protesting, and then there's domestic terrorism. You don't get to do whatever the fuck you want to do. I mean, good God, people don't act like this in other developed countries. You're just a bunch of fucking animals. No, see, Red's got it right. They counted mail-in votes after counting day of in-person votes. Yes. Now, I think it's a dumb fucking system. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, for the love of God, you already have the mail-in votes. You have the early the early votes. That shit's already in. Just get it fucking counted. All right, and then count the day of votes, and let's get this shit over with. I don't like how they do it, but that's how they fucking do it. It's just gonna be so interesting. It really is. It's gonna be so interesting because like my prediction is, as far as like her winning, is this 292, 246, and I'm gonna stick with that. All right, I'm gonna stick with that for now. And even if like let's say she wins Georgia, he wins North Carolina, that doesn't change. She still wins 292, 246. All right. I just think he has a more likely chance of pulling out Georgia than he does North Carolina at this point. No, I agree with I agree, Red. Well, here's the thing. I understand they can't count the early votes and the mail-in ballots before election day. That I understand. All right, because you don't want to count the ballots and release the early voting results before election day and before the polls close, because if you do that, it could influence how people vote on election day. So I can understand why they don't do that. However, when we hit midnight on election day, why not go ahead and count the early vote, count the mail-in ballots. Go ahead and do that on election day when we hit midnight, all right? And then when that happens, have that result ready so that when polls close in your state, you can go ahead and release the results then. So have the results, don't release them publicly, have it counted, and then release it when the polls close. Because at that point, it doesn't matter. The polls are closed. People have already voted on election day. It's done. It's over with. That's what I think they ought to do. I can tell you this: when Trump feels like he has 270 electoral votes, he's going to declare victory. I've already heard him say that, and I believe that will happen tomorrow night. If Trump declares victory before he actually, if he just feels like he's going to win, that's him setting up this whole January 6 2.0 type of thing. All right. And there's already been indications he's going to do that because Trump cannot accept a world where people reject him. That's not the Civil War. That was the Revolutionary War. What the fuck are you talking about? The Civil War was over slavery fought between the North and the South. The Revolutionary War was between the colonies and the British. And here we go. Like, this is that fucking Tim Pool shit. Civil War, Civil War, Civil War, Civil War, Civil War. If you keep wanting it, you're trying to manifest it. So you want a Civil War. I mean, do you know how sick you have to be to want a Civil War? To want to, like, why would you want this? Do you know how many people are going to die? How much bloodshed that's going to cause? Here's the thing. I believe the January 6th riots and his actions on that day were disqualifying. I don't think he should ever have been allowed to run for public office again. Because when that happened, he defied every single tradition of this country. He defied 2 centuries worth of peaceful transition of power. That's one of the staples of this country. That's sick. Just because he couldn't accept that he lost. Because he couldn't accept that the country rejected him. Like, Donald Trump cannot handle being rejected. That's the thing. Like, he has such a huge ego, he cannot accept it. There was, I guess technically you could call that a civil war, but at the same time, I know what you're talking about. It's when it's when the federal government started taxing the states, and there was like these rising up, like Bacon's Rebellion and stuff. Like, I guess I just call that just a series of insurrections, because it got put down pretty easy. Like, I don't even know if I just call that a war, to be honest with you. Yeah, but then we had all this stuff come out about him talking about he didn't care if Mike Pence was hanged. I mean, honestly, like, if he was going to do something to stop it, he should have sent out like the National Guard or something. He should have sent out the National Guard. As soon as they invaded the Capitol, he should have sent out the National Guard or the military to deal with it, because that was a domestic terrorist attack. That's what that is his duty to the Constitution. To protect and defend from all enemies, foreign and domestic. Trump has never had to struggle once in his life. Trump has never had to struggle a single day in his life. And people want to give him so much praise and talk about how great of a businessman he is, when his businesses have just turned into total shit. Remember the casinos? Trump University? Trump Steaks? Now the dude's selling Bibles. I mean, it's just... And the thing is, like, Trump did this to himself. Trump did this to himself. Like, if Trump had never run for president, like, he could have just gone on being like this personality and he probably would have been fine. But he jumped into this and he just went fucking crazy. Like, he just went off the fucking deep end. Oh, yeah. Yo, ITT. Oh, my God. That's a blast from the past. Bro, that is a blast from the past, dude. I remember the ITT Tech commercials. Holy shit. Yeah, that thing was a mess, man. Holy shit. See, this again, like, this just shows how people don't understand the complexities of these situations. They have this idea in their mind that America controls everything in the world. Oh, we like whoever's the president has complete control of every situation in the world. Russia is going to do what Russia is going to do. Do you know why Russia invaded Ukraine? Because Vladimir Putin has this fucked up, weird fantasy of rebuilding the Soviet Union. Okay? Vladimir Putin wants to get a hold of Ukraine and all of the surrounding countries that were part of the former Soviet Union because he fancies himself the reviver, the resurrector of the Soviet Union. Vladimir Putin was going to do this shit eventually. And the thing is, Vlad's getting old. Vlad is getting old. So he wants to do this as soon as possible. He was going to do this anyways. Now, the question you have to ask is, should we be involved in any of this shit? Should we actually be involved in Ukraine? And to me, if you look at the Ukrainian government is pretty damn corrupt. I mean, there was, like, look before all this shit started with the invasion. There was story after story about the Ukrainian government being pretty damn corrupt. So on the one hand, fuck Russia. I'm for anything that hurts Vladimir Putin and the Russian oligarchs because they're obviously shit, look at what they're doing in our own politics. You know, Tim Pool's a fucking traitor, man. Getting $100,000 a video from the fucking Russian government. I mean, Tim Pool's a fucking traitor. Tim Pool should be in prison, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, like, fuck Russia. So on the one hand, I'm like, I want to do everything I can to fuck over the Russian government, not the Russian people, the Russian government. But at the same time, it's fucking Ukraine, which is not exactly the pillar of moral governance. I mean, that's a thing. Like, if Russia had invaded Finland, it'd be more like, okay, like, this is like, obviously this is like really messed up. Like, we need to do something here. But it's just the Ukrainian government is really corrupt. Which states do you think are most at risk for going to Trump that are blue on your map? Okay, I can tell you right now. So the ones I think are most at risk would be Nevada and North Carolina. Nevada and North Carolina. That would be the two that I think are most at risk going to Trump. And that, because I think so here's the thing. You have the Rust Belt and then you have the Sun Belt. And I think he's it is much more likely a scenario, if he is going to peel off any of her support that I see here, that he wins the Sun Belt states, just sweeps it. Nevada, Arizona, North Carolina, Georgia. But she ends up sweeping the Rust Belt. I don't think, again, if Wisconsin and Michigan go to Harris, like I think they will, I think Pennsylvania will fall in line because the Rust Belt usually votes together. So even in this scenario, if he picks up Nevada and North Carolina, she still wins 270 to 268. barely wins. She just gets the exact amount, but she still wins. This is why I say it's much more likely she's going to win, because she can afford to lose more states than he can. When Russia failed to take Anatov Airport first days of the invasion, that screwed them immensely. Yeah, Russia has just been embarrassed by this whole thing. Like the fact that they can't, because remember when the Ukrainian invasion started. Yeah, you're exactly right, Red. Remember when the Ukrainian invasion started? Everybody thought that this was going to be over in 2 weeks. Everybody thought that Ukraine would fold and Russia would end up taking over Ukraine in 2 weeks. That didn't happen. And Russia has been fucking embarrassed on the public stage. It's insane. The war was lost almost as soon as it started. Yeah, like Russia looks so bad right now. It's so embarrassing. Here's the thing. You think inflation is bad now? Bobby, listen. You think inflation's bad now? Wait till those tariffs kick in. Oh, but that's just a tax on foreign countries. That's not how tariffs work. Dude, I have talked to small business owners, and they're fucking terrified of these tariffs. Prices are going to go up like insane. I mean, it's going to be a sales tax. It's going to be like a massive sales tax hike across the country. Again, like Vladimir Putin has this vision in his head of recreating the Soviet Union. That's what Vladimir Putin wants. He wants to recreate the Soviet Union. And this has just been an embarrassment for him. It's been an embarrassment. Putin tried for a very short amount of time, realized there was too much resistance, and retreated. Yeah, but see, his ego is not going to allow him to give up the fight completely. Here's the thing. Ukraine would never take back Southeast Ukraine. Probably not. Like the territory that Russia has gained from Ukraine is they're probably going to keep. But at the same time, if Putin keeps this going long term, somebody in the Kremlin's going to take him out. It's going to end up being a situation like, oh no, Putin got the mysterious illness, and now all of a sudden Putin is dead. Oh dear, how did that? Oh, he got a brain tumor at the no. Oh, he had an aneurysm. Oh no, how did that happen? It's like somebody slipped a little something in his fish one afternoon when he was eating dinner. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's see. Before the Ukrainian invasion, I'm getting sleepy. Before the Ukrainian invasion, Russia had what was considered the second most powerful military in the world. Definitely not second now with how much they've lost. Yeah, Russia has kind of been made into a bit of a joke, man. Like, that's the thing. Like, we used to think of Russia as being this big, bad, scary contender to the United States. Not so much anymore. Not so much. I think honestly, the Ukrainian invasion may go down as like the collapse of the current Russian regime, and that being the Kremlin, Putin's regime. Like, that's what it may go down into history as, is that it's going to end up being the collapse of that regime. And hopefully we get a better Russia. Hell, you know what? Fuck it. At this point, honestly, bring back the fucking monarchy. Bring back the fucking czar. I mean, shit. I'd rather deal with a Russian monarchy than deal with the shit we have now. Would you rather be allies with Russia or China? Neither. Especially neither in their current form. So, like I was just saying, I think like we could be seeing the collapse of the current Russian regime, the Kremlin. I think we could be seeing the collapse of that right now. This could be the start of it. And how long it takes for that collapse to play out, who knows? But I think that this could be the beginning. This could be the beginning of that collapse. Now, as for China, and I talked to a college professor about this, a history professor, really smart historian. China is going to collapse by the middle of the century. I'm talking, when I say middle of the century, I'm talking anywhere from 2050 to 2060. Around 2050 to around 2060. The Chinese Communist Party, the Chinese government is going to collapse. Because if you look at China, it is unsustainable what is going on over there. And they're going to collapse. Excuse me. They will collapse. They will collapse. So honestly, like, I don't think we get out of this century. Like, I don't think Russia and China in their current form, I don't think they survive this century. I think both of their governments collapse and something new rises in their place. There's been talk about the Tsar coming back in Russia. Maybe we'll get another Russian monarchy. I don't know. China, I don't know what would come out of it. If the Chinese Communist Party collapsed, I don't know what would come out of China. I'm going to be honest with you. Now, here's the thing. If we got like a Russian monarchy back, I guess I'd rather side with Russia than China in that situation. But the way they are now, fuck both of them. Yeah, Red's right. Red's right about this. I doubt Putin will actually get zeroed in office. I think he dies of old age / illness. It depends. Let me get a sip of water. Sorry. So I think it depends. If the conflict in Ukraine continues on like it is, and we end up in a situation where it's a prolonged conflict that is going nowhere, and it's wasting Russian lives and resources, I think he'll get taken out. If the conflict concludes somehow, some way, like Ukraine ends up giving up some territory or what have you, then you're probably right. Like, he'll probably be able to salvage himself. Is he ever going to be able to accomplish his goal of resurrecting the Soviet Union? Like, no, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And this proves it. Like, this proves it. He's not bringing back the Soviet Union. Like, that shit's not happening, bro. That shit's, I mean, it was stupid to think that anyways, but it's not happening. If Vladimir Putin was smart, like if he actually wanted to go down as a success, he would be trying to bring Russia into the future. But he's, again, like a lot of people here, he's focused on the fucking 1980s. And it's like, dog, get over the fucking 1980s. They weren't as great as you think. Do I think drone warfare should be a war crime? I would rather there not be any war, period. I mean, that's my answer right out of the gate. I'd rather there just not be war. Drone warfare. So if you're using drones, you're not putting soldiers' lives at risk, or you're putting fewer soldiers' lives at risk. But at the same time, you can do much more damage with drones than you can with human soldiers. And so you're hurting more civilians. You know what? I think there's a higher chance of civilians dying when it comes to drone warfare. And so for that reason alone, yes, I think it should probably be a war crime. Because first of all, war just shouldn't exist. Like, we shouldn't be fucking fighting each other. All right. We're all made in the image of God. We shouldn't be fighting each other. We should be getting along. All right. But if we do have wars, until wars come to an end, there's a code. There's supposed to be a code. There's supposed to be an understanding that you don't drag civilians into battles. You don't get civilians involved. Civilians are supposed to be off limits. Not everybody adheres to that, but that's supposed to be the code. Troop movement at night is considered a war crime, and nobody cares about that. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like, people don't understand this, but laws don't really matter. It's political will. Laws only matter if we have the will to follow them. Like, if we give a fuck. All right. That's the thing. Political will is what really turns the world. It's not really laws. All right. So I'm going to actually go ahead and pull up, because we're getting close to midnight, and Dixville Notch we should be getting something about Dixville Notch popping up. So let's see here. Why is... Oh, yeah, that's why. I don't know. Okay. Let's see. Dixville Notch voting. See if we got any live streams. Here we go. So Associated Press has it. That's live. Our first results. This is where we're going to get our first results.
Get the board done? All right, so Slick, so what we're doing tonight is, so there is this town called Dixville Notch in New Hampshire, and they're a very small town. Like, they have a very small population. I think only 12 to 20 something people live there. It's some ridiculously small number. So they actually have a tradition where at midnight on election day, as soon as it turns midnight, the people in Dixville Notch are going to vote, and they will count the votes right then and there. Okay. And so at midnight, we're going to get results from Dixville Notch. Now, does this pertain to anything when it comes to the election at large? Not necessarily. Is Dixville Notch some kind of bellwether? Not necessarily. Although they have been right. They have picked the right candidate 4 out of the 6 times. With one of those times they didn't pick the winning candidate being a tie. And that was the 2012 election with Obama and Romney. The only time that they really picked wrong was in 2016 when they picked Hillary, when, of course, Trump won in 2016. So, does this tell us anything about the election as a whole on a national level? Not really, but it's fun. It's fun. It's going to be our first. This is going to be actual votes. This isn't going to be polls. This isn't going to be data. This isn't going to be any of that stuff, all right? This is going to be actual votes. And we're going to find out here at midnight which way that Dixville Notch is going to be voting. So it's going to be interesting. It's just they have a history as being the first in the nation. They are the first in the nation when it comes to voting. So we're gonna find out at midnight. We're gonna get our very first actual real votes in at midnight. And I've watched this ever since I got interested in politics. I always make sure to stay up till midnight to see how Dixville Notch votes. It's fun to me. It's fun to me. I'm a political nerd. All right, it's fun for me. And I'm happy I get to enjoy it with everybody. I'm glad that we mostly got rid of the trolls. I know there's some Trump supporters in here. Trump supporters are not trolls, all right? Not all of them are trolls, but there was some trolls in here right at the beginning of the stream. And they seem to have finally given up, so I'm glad to see that. Now we just have people that are like Trump supporters, but they're not trolls. They're not spamming comments. They're just in here. They're hanging out. They're watching the stream with us. That's fine. That's fine, all right? We can disagree, but we're going to be fucking civil, all right? But yeah, we are... We're 24 minutes away from Dixville Notch voting. And sometime in the 12 o'clock hour, we're going to get the results of Dixville Notch voting. All right. Let's see. Let me actually see. Like, look at how like quaint this is right here. So. Who do we have here? We have president. We have... Okay, so there's Harris. There's Oliver. Who? Who the hell is that? Who's Oliver? Who the fuck's running for president? Oliver. And then you have Trump, and then Governor Craig. I've not paid attention to the governor's race in New Hampshire. Representative in Congress. I don't know who these people are. Obviously, I'm interested in the presidential election. But look at how old-fashioned this is, man. Look at how this is just wholesome. I mean, this is just really wholesome. This is just really wholesome. Good old-fashioned democracy. First in the nation, Dixville Notch. So yeah, this is actually going to be the first results that we're gonna get. Vermin Supreme is not on the ballot. Who? Wait, Vermin Supreme. Wait, are you talking about like RFK or Jill Stein or somebody? Hold up, wait a minute. Oliver. Is that Stein? Does that say Stein down there? Below Oliver? Yo, Jill Stein's a joke, man. I'm sorry, but Jill Stein's a fucking joke. Like Jill Stein, how many times has Jill Stein run for president? Like, go away. No one. Like, go away, bitch. No one cares. Man, I'm like this is the official start to election day, people. I'm excited. It's not even about who wins Dixville Notch. It's just I'm excited because this is the official start. This is the official start. I can't wait, man. He has run as a candidate numerous times. He wears the rain boot as a hat. You know, we used to have mental asylums for people like that. We used to have mental asylums for people like that. Who's winning? No one's casted a vote yet. They have to wait till midnight before they can actually cast their vote. But when they once we hit midnight, We are 20 minutes away. 20 minutes from now, the people of Dixville Notch will cast their vote. And sometime within the 12 o'clock hour, probably, we're going to get our first results. We're going to get the results of Dixville Notch. Because they count their votes like right then. Because there's only like, what, 12 people voting in this town? So we're going to get the first results like within the midnight hour. Bill Cosby for president. Yo, Bill Cosby, man. Ever since that shit went down, I can't watch the Cosby Show. And then I saw like Little Bill from like Nick Jr. pop up, and I'm like, ooh. And then Fat Albert, it's like, ooh. It's like so many shows ruined because of Bill fucking Cosby, man. That's insane. That's insane. All right, so we are 19 minutes. We're under 20 minutes until the first votes on election day are cast. And we get our first results in on election day from Dixville Notch. Huh? As a Christian, I hate this year's election. No, I get it. I mean, I'm a Christian as well. I can understand, like, with a lot of Christians, it's difficult to pick who to vote for. I mean, I get it. I get it for sure. I had to make a decision, though. I had to make a decision when I went to that voting booth, and I think it's pretty obvious. I think it's pretty obvious who the fuck I voted for, but I get it. A lot of people are doing that. A lot of people this year are, when they go into that voting booth, they're holding their nose and casting a ballot, and they're not exactly very happy about whoever they pick. They're not happy about it. That's happening with a lot of people, which shouldn't be the case. I mean, really, you ought to be happy with your vote. You got to be happy with who you're picking. And it really says something about the sorry state of democracy in this country. It really does. Okay, see, like, this is old school. You see the little wooden box over there? They're actually going to put their ballots in a box. Like, this is so old school, man. This is so old-fashioned, but I love it. It's so wholesome, man. It's so like, just good. Like, shit like this makes you feel good to be an American. I love it. 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 All right, guys, we are at 16 minutes until the votes are cast in Dixville Notch. Of course, you got all the press there and everything. I'm sure, like, the big media outfits like NBC, ABC, CNN, Fox, they're all probably watching this right now. Why did the screen go all blue? Okay, there we go. The quality's back. I was about to say, what the hell? But it's back. It's fine. All right, guys. We are right now 15 minutes away from the first votes being cast on election day.
That the polls will be closed when all 6 of the ballots go in there.
Like, I think the population in this town's like 20 something. And I think there's like 12 registered voters or something like that. I don't know. Like 12 people that are actually qualified to vote, I think. Like, this is like the smallest fucking town in the entire country. That's why they're able to cast their votes at midnight and count them at midnight and get the results in so quick, is because this is like the smallest town in the entire country. This is great to see. As an active duty military member, I've never stepped inside a voting booth. I have always sent in my absentee. I've never sent in an absentee. I don't even know if I know what the process is to do that. I have always either gone, well, most of the time I early vote. Like as soon as early voting starts, I go in the first weekend, I go in and I vote. I get it done. That's what I did this year. I've already voted. I early voted. 1 year, no, 1 year, I went in and did election day voting. That was in 2016. I actually did election day voting. I can't wait. Like this is the official start, man. It's the official start to election day. People are already getting lined up here to drop in that ballot in the box. Like it's so old school, man. Like they actually have a ballot box. They fill out the ballot, they drop it in the box. The election officials pull them out of the box. They count them, put down the results. Bada bing, bada boom. We know how Dixville Notch voted. What if it ends up being a tie? That did happen in 2012. That did happen in 2012. What if it ends up being a tie? That'd be kind of anticlimactic if it was a tie. I'm not going to lie. It'd be very anticlimactic. What time are we at? We're at... We got just a little over 12 minutes before this thing goes down. We got just a little over 12 minutes. Who's this guy? You gonna speak? You gonna say something? Oh, I see a dog in the background. They have a dog. Yo, let's elect the dog as president. Let's go. I saw a good boy or a good girl in the background. I want to rub its belly. I want to scratch its ears. I saw a dog in the background.
I am the town moderator. Basically, my job to.
Yo, this dude's mic is not working.
Dixville.
And are you able to keep everyone in line? We've got 6 voters to.
Oh, it's a lot easier than when it used to be in the 30s.
They don't have subtitles.
And tell me what's special about what's happening.
This dude's... Dude, your mic's not working.
What's happening here? What I always like to say, this is the starting line.
Let's see what the chat is saying.
At midnight, we'll start voting, and the rest of the country, if everybody else did what we do.
Chase Oliver? Who the fuck is Chase Oliver? Who is this motherfucker?
So our job is to encourage.
That's running for president. Who's Chase Oliver?
And can I ask you who you're voting for?
Somebody said, "What a beautiful
I
man."
generally don't divulge that before we vote, but
Yeah.
I'll tell you afterwards.
What have been the big issues this election?
Well, I think the big issues are one, character, who I want to wake up and feel.
Oh no, his mic is fine. I just had my volume turned down. Holy shit. No, I can actually hear him. My bad.
How to have border security and be pro-immigration, issues around the deficit and our national debt. Neither candidate's proposing to fix it, but one of them seems to be ahead of the other in terms of making it worse. So, and foreign policy, you know, being a consistent leader in the world, not an erratic, who knows what's going to happen leader.
Chase Oliver is the Libertarian candidate. So, in other words, he has no chance.
That it's important to vote.
I mean, come on.
Just think how you're going to feel if the person that you really don't want to wins and you didn't go to vote. You know, you've got 4 years to blame yourself.
I should let you go.
Okay.
No. No, wait to pause. I hear audio. Get the camera going. Don't freeze, you fuckers. Yo, there is lag big time. How many people are watching this? Not even a lot of people watching it. There is lag big. Yo, what the fuck? Hold on, let me refresh it. Hold up. Yeah, that's on their end. The video for you fuckbags. Don't you do this. Don't you do this. Okay, it's back. It's back. The quality is ass, but it's back. Oh, wait, man. There we go. It's starting to fix itself. There we go. There we go. There we go. Somebody says, I live in New Hampshire. Our internet is trash. Oh my God. Do not fucking do not. I swear to God. Laggy as fuck. Laggy as fuck, New Hampshire. What are you doing? And now we have a guy with an accordion. What is this shit? Now we have a guy with an accordion. For some reason, we have a guy with an accordion. Accordion guy for president? Let's go. New Hampshire with the McDonald's Wi-Fi. There's like one McDonald's in the entire state of New Hampshire. And everybody gets their Wi-Fi from that one McDonald's. Yeah, there's no audio. Surely to God they'll fix it by the time the vote starts. Come on now. So I said vote Trump to save the audio. Oh, maybe they have to cut out the audio because of like some private thing with voting. I don't know. I don't know. Somebody said Peanut the squirrel would vote. Oh my God. Peanut the squirrel. Yo, we were over on my friend Ruby King's stream last night and we were talking about Peanut the squirrel. Like, that's some sad shit. That squirrel did not deserve to die. I swear to God, Dixville Notch, you get your shit together. There we go. There we go. There we go. It's back. Rest in peace, Harambe. Rest in peace, Peanut. There was also, like, when they raided that house and they killed Peanut, they also killed a raccoon. So, Peanut's raccoon friend died too. Rest in peace, raccoon. AP, get your shit together. What are you doing?
People have voted at polls already that day. When I started this, there was no such thing as early voting and vote by mail and all that. So we're not really the first voters. We're just the first polling place to open and close the election day. But the message is still the same. small town up in the mountains can get everybody out. 100% of their registered voters out.
All right, 5 minutes. 5 minutes they're going to cast their votes.
Maybe you can get up a little earlier or take a little time for your day and vote as well.
Somebody said, "Hey AP, your audio sucks. Dixville's Notch."
If a person really wants to win,
Yo, this chat's brutal.
feel the next 4 years.
So there's only, so I think is there only 6 voters this time around in Dixville Notch? Really? Only 6 people. Only 6 people are actually old enough to vote. There's a fucking dog. Who the good boy? Who the good boy? Somebody said I vote for the dog. Oh.
Well, we had 6 last minute. Prior to that, we only had 5. So even with 6 people, we have to.
Somebody said this is being broadcast over a 300 baud toaster.
And in order to manage the process for all election officials here, in order to manage the process, a selectman has to go first, and that's.
So yeah, I think there's 6 people that are actually qualified to vote living in Dixville Notch. So here we go, man. 6 votes. Who are they going to go for? Who are they going to go for? AP, hold up. Let me, I swear to God. India Today? What the fuck? Let's see if this stream's any better.
If we make a mistake, I'm sure you'll tell us.
Yeah, this shit's just as like.
But we'll do the county right here, and as soon as we're finished, but we'll do the county right
Okay,
here.
everybody's fucking feed is laggy.
On the board over there. We used to have a very lightweight sort of cardboard box that we used.
All right, there's the box. There's the ballot box. All right. Potato camp. Yo, you're not like it's. I feel like the camp. You know, like how you can like use a potato to like power a battery. I think they're using a potato to power the fucking camera, dog.
2 minutes up, and
Okay. To honor our great nation, we'll begin with the playing of the national anthem by a very special guest.
They're gonna do an accordion version of the national anthem.
Corey Pesatore.
Fuck it, bro. Let's go. Yo, I'm sitting right here. And I'm proud to be an American, or at least I know I'm free. That was beautiful, man. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. I felt that in my soul, man. Yo, George Washington would be proud right now, dog. All right, it is 12 a.m. Let's get this bitch started.
10 seconds.
Shit was fire, encore, bars.
I don't hear anything.
Now midnight, November 5th, and polls are open.
All right, polls are open. People, get up there and vote.
Yes.
Come on, all 6 of you, get your ass up there and vote. Let's do this shit. Let's do this shit. All right. Here it is, my man. Here it is. The first vote on election day is being cast right now by this fine, elderly motherfucker right here. Get in there and you do your patriotic duty. Straight bop on God. No.
The
Yeah.
voting is beginning in this village of Dixville Notch. We are in the living room.
He's freaking. Dude, stop.
Dixville Notch, near Baltimore.
This is like the.
Refurbishing. So this home is for tonight.
This is the most basic of ways of voting. Like, there's no way to cheat this shit, dog. How has Dixville Notch voted in the past? So 4 out of 6 times they voted for the winner of the election nationally. The only time they got it wrong was in 2016 when they voted for Clinton when Trump won. And then the 2012 election, it was a tie when Romney and Obama was doing their thing. Every other time they've got it right. Since the year 2000. So 4 out of 6, I mean, that's not bad. And I guess with there only being 6 voters, technically this could be a tie. I mean, this could be a tie. I swear to God, stop fucking up with this fucking lag, AP. No. Yo, their internet is so screwed, man. Are you kidding me? Now we get. Yo, man, these people have that fucking Walmart internet. All right, so that's 2 people that have voted, so now we're on our 3rd. Oh no, yeah. We got a lady back there. So we're on our 3rd. Dude in the plaid is the 4th one, I think. Dude, I don't understand this shit. Like, how is it like one of these major, massive fucking media companies, and their shit can be this laggy and blurry? Like, don't y'all spend money on like some high tech shit? Like, what do y'all do? Like, my fucking feed's better than this, and I'm only streaming in fucking 720p, dog. What the fuck y'all doing? If you ain't cheating, then you ain't trying. That was a. Lance Armstrong did not say that shit, did he? Stop the count. Stop the steal. Wait a minute. Hold up. Look inside. Look inside that booth. Is that Tim Walz inside that booth? Oh my God, it's rigged. I think I saw Tim Walz inside that booth. He's hiding behind those curtains. It's rigged. It's gonna be like that Simpson meme. They're gonna go in there and be like, they're gonna press the button for Trump, and it's gonna be like, one vote casted for Kamala Harris. No, silly machine. I want to vote for Trump. 25 votes casted for Kamala Harris. It's like, shit.
There's so much pride in the show like that, not just among the 6 people that probably live in the village of Dixville, but among
See, how many people are we at? Is she fifth or? Oh, yeah, we gotta let the dog vote. We gotta let the dog vote. Of course, the dog has to vote. Is she the last one, or is there somebody else? I think she might be the last one. This lady that's in there now. Somebody let the dog vote. For the love of God, let the dog vote. He could be the. If it's a tie, let the dog be the tiebreaker. You have just as many gold medals as Lance Armstrong. Prove it. Bring the receipts. And let me tell you right now, those little gold medals with the chocolates inside of them, that shit doesn't count, Andrew. That shit doesn't count. Was she the last one? She may have been the last one. There's only 6 voters and I lost fucking count. I would suck as a poll worker, bro. Oh, there's 2 dogs. Oh. Maybe one's a girl and one's a boy. They're going to fucking have puppies. Puppies. All right, so they've all voted. Here we go. All right, here we go, vote. Here we go. Everybody in Dixville Notch who can vote has voted. We are going to get the first results of the 2024 presidential election right now. Polls are closed. Here we go. We're going to find out who's going to win Dixville Notch. This is it, folks. We're going to watch it together. We're going to watch it live. This is the first results of the 2024 presidential election. Who's your money on? You think Harris is going to win Dixville Notch or Trump? Who do you think is going to get this? Or do you think it's going to be a tie? Who do you think is going to win? Here we go. The moment of truth.
Tom, don't drop the box.
Try not to.
It'll hurt somebody.
Won't hurt the box, that's for sure.
One for Donald Trump.
We got one for Donald Trump. One for Donald Trump.
One for Lily Tang Williams. One for Joseph P. Kenny. One for David Roquefort. One for Arnold G. Davis. One for Keith L. Roberge. One for John McCormick. One for Suzanne Collins. One for Leon H. Rideout. One for Terry L. Peterson. One for Ray Gorman. And yes on the constitutional amendment question.
All right, so that's one for Trump. Here comes the next ballot.
One for Donald Trump and J.D. Vance.
That's 2 for Trump.
Kelly Ayotte.
That's 2 for Trump.
One for Lily Tang Williams. One for Joseph D. Kenny. One for David Roquefort. One for Arnold G. Davis. One for Keith Roberge. One for John McCormick. One for Suzanne Collins. One for Leon H. Rideout. One for Terry L. Peterson. One for Ray Gorman. And another yes for the constitutional amendment.
So we got 2 for Trump.
One for, I never say her name. Harris,
All right, we got one for Harris. So right now it's 2-1. Donald Trump has 2 votes in Dixville Notch. Kamala Harris.
one for Maggie
Kamala Harris has 1 vote in Dixville Notch. So Trump is leading 2-1 in Dixville Notch.
Gilport, one for Arnold G. Davis, one for Keith LaBerge, one for John McCormick, one for Suzanne Collins, one for Leanne H. Rideout, one for Terry L. Peterson, one for Ray Gorman, and yes on the amendment question.
All right, here comes ballot number 4.
One for Donald J. Trump.
Ooh.
Vance,
All right, so we got 3 votes for Donald Trump, 1 vote for Kamala Harris.
one for Joseph.
All right, so this could,
One for David Wilford,
yo,
one for Arnold
even if she gets the next 2, it's going to be a tie.
L. Roberge,
That would be some shit.
one for John
Now, if Donald Trump gets the next vote, he wins Dixville
for
Notch.
Suzanne Collins, one for Leon H. Rideout, one for Terry L. Peterson, one for Ray Gorman.
So it's 3 for Donald Trump, 1 for Kamala Harris so far.
Amendment question.
All right, here we go. 4th ballot.
One for Kamala D. Harris.
It's 2 for Kamala Harris.
For Joyce Craig,
It's 2 for Kamala Harris. So here we go.
one for Emmett Silva,
So, guys, we've got 3 votes for Donald Trump,
one for
2 votes for Kamala Harris in Dixville Notch.
Keith L.
Whoever gets the next,
for John
if Donald Trump gets the next ballot, he wins Dixville Notch. If he gets the last ballot, he wins Dixville Notch. If Kamala Harris gets the next ballot, it's going to be a tie.
we have a under. Is that an undervote?
Oh God, it's lagging. Fuck. Stop lagging.
One for Kamala D. Harris. One for Kelly Hyatt.
Kamala Harris got the last vote.
One for Joseph D. Kenny. One for David Wood.
So it's 3 votes for Donald Trump, 3 votes for Kamala Harris.
One for Keith
It's a tie.
Burge. One for John McCormick. One
It's
for
a
Susan
oh my
Collins,
God.
one for
It's
Leon H.
it's a
Rideout,
freaking tie.
Terry L. Peterson, one for Ray Gorman, and
They each got 3 votes. It's a tie.
We have the results, yes, we do. All right, we ready? For president, 3 for Kamala Harris, 3 for Donald Trump.
It's a tie.
Following the national president. For governor, 1 for Joyce Craig and 5 for.
I'm gonna put that in the chat. I'm gonna put that in the chat.
For representative Congress, 4 for Maggie Goodlander, and 2 for Willie Tang Williams.
Harris 3 and Trump 3.
Flavor you That's it. For anyone that's interested, for executive counselor, we had 1 for.
That's interesting, man.
And 5 for Joe Kennedy, and for state senator, 1 for.
It's a tie.
And 5 for David Roach.
Yeah, there it is, man. Harris got 3 votes. Trump got 3 votes. Well, doesn't that just represent the fucking country? Dude. Because right now, like, everybody's saying it's pretty much a tie nationally. Doesn't that just represent the fucking country? Holy shit.
That's it. Thank you for coming. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you all. It's a wonderful tradition.
And that's it, people. Dixville Notch. The first town in the country to cast their votes. The first 6 actual fucking votes that have come in. The first results of the 2024 election. And it's a motherfucking tie between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. 3 for Harris, 3 for Trump. This does not bode well. Oh my God. What if it ends up being a tie nationally? Holy shit. Oh no. Oh my God. That's not good for anybody. That's not good for anybody. Holy shit. But that's it, folks. We got our first official results of the 2024 election. It is a tie in Dixville Notch. Oh, all right. So we're going to see how it plays out the rest of the day. We're going to see what happens next. Get out there and vote. Whoever you support, get the fuck out there and vote. The first polls on a statewide level close at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So get out there and fucking vote, people. Let's go. Let's go. All right. I appreciate everybody coming in, except for the trolls. The trolls can go fuck themselves. But I appreciate everybody coming in, whether you're a Trump supporter and not a troll, or whether you're a Harris supporter and not a troll. As long as you're not a troll, I appreciate you being here. Much love, much appreciated. Subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. As far as my election coverage is going to go, I'll probably be hanging out with my family most of the night, but I'll come in later that night. Like if we get the results that night, I'm going to hop in later and do a stream and we'll talk about it. It's going to be interesting, man. All right, so here we go. That is the official first results of the 2024 election coming from Dixville Notch. It is a tie. Kamala Harris 3 votes, Donald Trump 3 votes. Dear sweet God, for the love of the country, do not let that represent the country nationally and be a fucking tie, because that sucks for everybody. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Get out there and vote. Much love, much appreciated. And I'll see you guys in the next one.